We support the government. We support the deterrent action taken by the government against Pakistan. What we are perplexed about is the way the 4-day war suddenly stopped. I think by and large, it's a good decision to send a multi-party delegation to capitals of the world and to explain our stand. Now, please remember, official records, government records show that after the Mumbai attack in 2008, Uri was the first Pakistan-sponsored infiltrated terrorist attack. I don't fault the government that why have you not found the terrorist in 20 or 30 days. I think the more important question is, what was the intelligence failure behind Pahalgam? There are long sentences without understanding the sentences. They just jump in and say, Haryana police has arrested a professor, therefore he must have done something wrong.
April 22nd, Pahalgam attack took place. It's been almost a month. The whereabouts of the attackers or the terrorists is still not known. The government, however, carried out Operation Sindoor on May 7th. The government informed all parties that in those strikes, about 100 terrorists were killed in Pakistan. But now the opposition is questioning the government. Earlier, they supported them wholeheartedly. But why these questions are now being raised? We are joined by a senior Congress leader, Mr. P. Chidambaram, who was the Home Minister and also the Finance Minister. Sir, you also have been questioning the timeline and also the timeline leading to the ceasefire. Why now these questions are being raised?
No, we are not questioning the counter-offensive. We support the government. We support the deterrent action taken by the government against Pakistan. What we are perplexed about is the way the 4-day war suddenly stopped. Until about 5 p.m. on May 10, we thought that the war was going on, that Indian drones and Indian aircraft were attacking Pakistani targets. Suddenly, President Trump announces on his social media page that the war had stopped out at 5 p.m. That's what we are puzzled about, and we are asking the government, please tell us the circumstances under which a ceasefire was effected by the two countries.
So, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has also, questioned the External Affairs Minister. He has said that we also need to know as to whether the Pakistan was informed beforehand, before the strikes took place. However, Ministry of External Affairs has come out with a clarification saying that is not the case. What do you have to say about that pertinent question which is being raised by Mr. Gandhi?
No, I have no comment. The statement of the Ministry of External Affairs is capable of two interpretations. Mr. Rahul Gandhi correctly asked the question, and the Ministry of External Affairs has given a clarification. I have no further comment on that.
So leaders, many leaders in fact are going abroad, taking the message of the government of India abroad. So do you think this is a wise decision to include opposition members also, although TMC now is saying that they won't be sending their leader with these leaders? What do you have to say on that?
Well, I don't want to comment on any individual political party. I think by and large, it's a good decision to send a multi-party delegation to capitals of the world and to explain our stand. See, what these MPs will explain is only the government stand. They will not add or subtract from the government stand. They will not add their own party's positions or doubts. They will simply, faithfully convey the government stand, and I don't see anything wrong in the government enlisting the services of multi-party delegations to explain the stand.
So you yourself were a home minister and you know Kashmir minutely. When you were the home minister, you know Armed Forces Special Powers Act, there were talks that in some areas it's going to be removed. But now things have changed drastically, especially after the Pahalgam attack. Do you feel that you could have done things differently as compared to the present regime, as what's happening there now?
What we have done was enormous. It is now widely accepted that after 2008 or 2010, terrorist attacks in Jammu and Kashmir drastically came down. These could be external terrorists or homegrown terrorists. Drastically came down, and it has picked up in the last 4 or 5 years. You just look at the graph of the number of casualties in Jammu and Kashmir, the number of security forces killed, and the number of terrorists killed. The graph came down. But we never claimed that there was zero terrorism. That claim was made by the present government. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that there was zero terrorism, or you can achieve zero terrorism simply by reducing the status of Jammu and Kashmir from a state to 2 union territories. But this government claimed zero terrorism. And then why did Uri happen? Why did Balakot happen? And why did Pahalgam happen? It's clear that we are some distance away from zero terrorism. There will be terrorist incidents. I hope they are few and closing down to nil. There will be homegrown terrorists supported by infiltrated terrorists. We must always be vigilant against such terrorist attacks. We can't sit back and say we have achieved zero terrorism.
So after 26/11, there was a zero tolerance approach, even by your party as vis-a-vis Pakistan. When you were there in Islamabad, you gave them a very stern message. We were part of that delegation. Do you think since then till now, Pakistan changed its tactics, and now that Operation Sindoor has been done, will they change it?
Now, please remember, official records, government records show that after the Mumbai attack in 2008, Uri was the first Pakistan-sponsored infiltrated terrorist attack. There was no terrorist attack which can be sourced to Pakistan between 2008 and 2016, Uri. Now, Uri happened in 2016. Balakot happened in 2019. Pulwama happened in 2019. And now this has happened in 2025. Therefore, the strategy that we followed did pay some dividends. I'm not saying terrorism was wiped out, but it did pay dividends. In fact, a learned author has written a piece today, which I read today, that for 7 years there was relative peace after the Mumbai attack. And I would attribute that relative calm and relative terrorist-free situation to the measures that we had taken in Kashmir, especially the 3-member delegation which went and engaged the people of Kashmir, the interlocutors which went around Kashmir and then the restoration of freedoms, the withdrawal of troops, the removal of barricades, especially in Srinagar. And those, I think, helped to win the confidence of the people. See, the government, whichever government is in office, must win the trust and confidence of the people. I think that trust and confidence was seriously dented by the reduction of the status of Kashmir to a union territory and the non-fulfillment of the promise made by the government to hold elections. Keep aside Article 370. That's a controversial subject. Keep aside that. Why did you reduce the status of Kashmir to a union territory? And why have you not held elections as you promised to the Supreme Court?
So now Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that, Operation Sindoor is the new normal. And do you think that it would have some kind of ramifications vis-a-vis country's security or our international standing is concerned, India's international standing?
See, I don't accept the argument it's a new normal. What is new about it? The 3 points that every terrorist attack will meet an effective response. No succumbing to nuclear blackmail. And no distinction between state terrorists and other terrorists, non-state terrorists. This is nothing new. The Prime Minister has, of course, put all three together in an important speech. Therefore, it appears new. I think this is the long-held position of India.
And so, after Pahalgam attack, still the whereabouts of the terrorists are, not known. And even the accountability has not been fixed. What do you have to say? You were also the Home Minister, that time. How could you have done things differently?
See, it's easy to give unsolicited advice. It's not easy to find a terrorist. Suppose the terrorist who caused the Pahalgam attack are deep inside Kashmir. They will be found out sooner than later. But if they have escaped to Pakistan, it's going to be difficult to find them. I don't fault the government that why have you not found the terrorist in 20 or 30 days. Sometimes it takes longer. But I'm sure they are making efforts to identify the terrorist. They've at least identified an organization, TRF or something. But they will sooner than later find the terrorist. I think the more important question is, what was the intelligence failure behind Pahalgam? Clearly, there was an intelligence failure. I think government ministers have more or less admitted there was a grave intelligence failure. Secondly, law and order is under the control of the Lieutenant Governor. Why were there no policemen at all or security forces in Pahalgam or the particular plane, Baisiran or something? Baisiran. Those are questions which are legitimate questions, and I'm sure the government will in due course give an answer, which is why the Congress party and other parties are asking for a parliament session and an all-party meeting, not to find the fault with the counter-offensive. We support the counter-offensive. Let me make that clear. We support the counter-offensive. But what were the causes behind the Pahalgam attack and what failures must be discussed someday or other. How long can it be not discussed?
Absolutely. So what about infiltration? still, you know, last 2 years, army was of the viewpoint that no infiltration has been taking place. They in fact gave a written reply in the parliament also, zero infiltration. Now, last year, the Director General of Police of Jammu and Kashmir said 150 have crossed over. So how did the figure boil up? Because there is MAC, obviously things are being discussed. So where do you think, you know, things missed out?
See, I have never believed that there is zero infiltration or we have reached a point where we can claim zero terrorism. I never believed that. See, it's a long border, almost 3,300 kilometers of India-Pakistan border and LOC. There will be infiltration because the adversary is also determined. We should be equally determined and vigilant. I have no doubt about our determination. I have a doubt about the determination being implemented on the ground. Even if we are slack, if we lower our guard for 2 days, there will be infiltration. So I think the claims made by the government ministers that there is zero infiltration, we have reached zero terrorism, were hollow claims, and that's been exposed now. The better course is to not to make these claims, but to admit that we are vigilant, we are determined to stop infiltration, we are determined to stamp out terrorism, and then leave it there.
So what about UHQ politics? You know, there is always a tiff between the Lieutenant Governor and the sitting Chief Minister because he's not part of it. So you, as you were the Home Minister, so what do you have to say? The sitting Chief Minister need to be...
I don't believe that this Union Territory status is legitimate or justified. They promised that they promised the Supreme Court and they promised the people of Kashmir that elections will be held and immediately state status will be restored. They have failed the promise. They have breached the promise. And I don't think a Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir can be denuded of law and order responsibility. How can the Lieutenant Governor hold the responsibility for law and order and the Chief Minister hold the responsibility for all other matters? It's not possible. All right, in a small place like Puducherry or Andaman Nicobar or Lakshadweep, it can have a Union Territory status and the Lieutenant Governor can hold that responsibility. But in a state like Jammu and Kashmir, it's a complex state. It doesn't work. I think the immediate task is to restore the statehood for Jammu and Kashmir and make the Chief Minister wholly responsible, and the Governor only has titular responsibility.
Sir, Operation Sindoor, you know, some arrests are also being made all over the country, including a professor from Ashoka University. He's also been arrested. What are your thoughts? You're a lawyer also for spying.
See, I have only seen the tweet as published in newspapers. I have read it once, twice. No, which is the part of that speech which is objectionable? I think this question should be asked to the Haryana police, which jumped into the act and arrested him. I don't know. He was being produced in court today. I don't know what happened in court today. But I didn't find any part of the speech objectionable. But I'm willing to be corrected. Somebody must point out which part of the speech is objectionable and violative of law. See, hundreds of people comment without reading the tweet. It's in English, without understanding English, there are long sentences, without understanding the sentences. They just jump in and say, Haryana police has arrested a professor, therefore he must have done something wrong. I mean, these are knee-jerk reactions.
So last question, in a first political reach out, the government of India, in fact, has reached out to Taliban also. Do you think what is happening in this part of the region was the reason that they reached out?
See, never say never. Things will change. Things change is the order of the nature. For example, when Bangladesh was liberated, we swore loyalty to each other and swore friendship to each other forever and forever. Now, what is the state of relations between India and Bangladesh? So, Taliban may have been sort of an adversary a few years ago, but Taliban is in control of Afghanistan. You have to deal with Taliban. Mr. Putin is in control of Russia. Mr. Xi is in control of China. Mr. Erdogan is in control of Turkey. Are we refusing to deal with Mr. Putin or Mr. Xi or Mr. Erdogan? We may or may not agree with the Taliban's policies. In fact, several policies we don't agree. They have recently banned chess. We don't agree with that. But if somebody is in effective control of a country, you have to deal with it.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us and giving your wonderful insight. It's always lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.